Kazuto was a young man with a heart full of courage. His eyes, always filled with determination, reflected the strength of his spirit. He was known in his village for his unwavering resolve and his willingness to help others, no matter the cost. He lived in a world bathed in sunlight and laughter. The village was a place of joy, where children played freely and the air was filled with the sound of laughter. It was a peaceful countryside where everyone knew each other and lived in harmony. But this world was under threat. Dark clouds began to gather on the horizon, casting long shadows over the once bright and cheerful landscape. The villagers could feel an ominous presence, a sense of impending doom that loomed over their peaceful town. Yami, a creature of pure darkness, desired to consume it. This malevolent being emerged from the shadows, its presence sending chills down the spines of all who sensed it. Yami's hunger for destruction was insatiable, and it sought to engulf the world in darkness. The fate of all that was good rested on Kazuto's shoulders. He knew that he was the only one who could stand against Yami. With a heart full of determination, he prepared himself for the challenge ahead, knowing that the future of his world depended on his actions. He was chosen to be the hero, the bringer of light. The ancient sword he held in his hands was a symbol of hope, a weapon that had been passed down through generations to the one destined to fight the darkness. Kazuto felt the weight of this responsibility, but also the strength it gave him, Kazuto's inner voice. Kazuto knew what he had to do. He spent many nights reflecting on his path, his intense gaze fixed on the horizon. He understood the gravity of his mission and the sacrifices it would require, but he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. He had to face Yami. The confrontation was inevitable, and Kazuto steeled himself for the battle. He knew that this was his destiny, to stand against the darkness and protect all that he loved. He had to protect his world from the encroaching darkness. The shadows seemed to grow thicker with each passing day, but Kazuto's resolve only strengthened. He would not let his world be consumed by fear and despair. Fear gnawed at his heart, but he wouldn't let it cripple him. Despite the anxiety that threatened to overwhelm him, Kazuto stood strong. He knew that courage was not the absence of fear, but the will to act in spite of it. He would fight for his home, for his people, for the light. With every ounce of strength he had, Kazuto would battle the darkness. He was determined to protect his village, his friends, and the light that made their world beautiful. The fight would be long and arduous, but he was ready to give it his all. The battlefield was a desolate wasteland, a barren expanse where life once thrived but now lay in ruin. The ground was dry and cracked, a testament to the devastation that had swept through this land. It was once a vibrant meadow, teeming with life. Lush green fields stretched as far as the eye could see, dotted with colorful flowers that swayed gently in the breeze. Birds sang, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flora. Now it was shrouded in an eerie silence. The once lively sounds of nature were replaced by an oppressive quiet, broken only by the occasional whisper of the wind. The emptiness was palpable, a stark contrast to the meadow's former glory. It was a testament to Yami's power, a glimpse into the abyss he promised. The landscape was dark and ominous, a foreboding wasteland that seemed to stretch into infinity. Shadows danced across the ground, hinting at the malevolent force that had claimed this place. A chilling wind howled across the barren landscape, carrying with it the scent of decay and despair. It was as if the very air had been tainted by the darkness that now ruled this land. The air crackled with a malevolent energy, charged with the power of Yami's dark magic. Ominous lightning streaked across the sky, illuminating the desolate scene with brief flashes of eerie light. Kazuto stood alone, a solitary figure against the vast darkness. His silhouette was stark against the bleak horizon, a lone warrior facing an insurmountable challenge. He gripped his sword tightly, its surface reflecting the faintest glimmer of light. This weapon was his only hope, a beacon of resistance against the encroaching darkness. The weight of the world felt heavy on his shoulders. Every step he took was burdened with the responsibility of those who depended on him, those who believed in him. The fate of everything he held dear rested on the outcome of this battle. He knew that failure was not an option. The stakes were too high, the consequences too dire. He was afraid, yes, but he wouldn't let fear control him. He would face Yami. He would fight. With a deep breath, Kazuto steeled himself for the confrontation ahead, ready to give everything for the chance to reclaim the light. Yami emerged from the swirling darkness. It was a creature of pure shadow, its form constantly shifting and changing. Its eyes glowed with malevolent red light, promising pain and destruction. Fear threatened to consume Kazuto, to drown him in its icy grip. He had never faced anything so terrifying. Kazuto fought back the fear. He had to be strong. He had to be the light. He raised his sword, its surface glowing brighter. The faint glimmer became a blinding radiance. He charged into the heart of the darkness, his heart thundering in his chest. The clash was earth-shattering. It was light against dark, hope against despair.
I fought with every ounce of my strength, parrying each of Yami's attacks with fierce determination.
But Yami was relentless. Its power seemed endless.
I faltered. Doubt crept into my mind. Was I strong enough? Could I really defeat this creature of darkness?
He looked around at the desolate landscape. He remembered the beauty of his world, the laughter of its people. His resolve solidified. He wouldn't let Yami take that away. Kazuto closed his eyes, feeling the weight of the world lift off his shoulders. The battle had been long and arduous, but now, in this moment of peace, he allowed himself to breathe. He remembered the warmth of the sun, the laughter of children playing in the fields, and the simple joys of life that he had fought so hard to protect. These memories were his anchor, his reason to keep going. He pictured the faces of those he loved, their smiles giving him strength. His family, his friends, all the people who believed in him and stood by his side through thick and thin. A new strength surged through him, a strength born not just from his own will, but from the collective hopes and dreams of everyone he held dear. It was the strength of hope, the strength of love, and the unwavering belief that light would always prevail over darkness.
I opened my eyes, and they shone with renewed determination. The battle was not over, but I was ready to face whatever came next.
With a final mighty roar, Kazuto unleashed all his power, channeling every ounce of his being into one last decisive strike. Light erupted from him, banishing the shadows and throwing Yami back into the abyss. The darkness that had threatened to consume everything was now being pushed back. The darkness receded, leaving behind the promise of a new dawn. The first light of daybreak signaled a new beginning, a fresh start for everyone. As the first rays of sunlight touched the land, Kazuto collapsed, his strength finally spent. He had given everything he had, and now he could rest. He had won. Light had triumphed over darkness. The battle was over, but the journey of rebuilding and healing was just beginning.